Come and have a little dance with me.
Welcome to Modern Women. I'm Tashika Rice.
I'm Jessica Simone.
And I'm Victoria White.
And our topic for today's discussion is feminism. Guys, there was this viral video on YouTube. I'm not sure if you guys saw, but oh my god.
Same video with the guy.
Yes, I honestly didn't watch this video through and through for myself, guys. But word on the street is that this guy has a nerve. I need to see this video for myself. In fact, we need to see this video for ourselves.
Let's go ahead.
Why are people feminists? Why do we have feminism? I mean, come on. I want a hot meal to be served and ready as soon as I reach home from work. She is to be ready and to change my shoes and give me a massage, you know, whenever I say so. Why does she need pleasure? You know, her open job is to give me sex at my given time, you know. She's or whether or not she likes it or not. That's her job. I am against feminism. The man is the head of the household. She is to stay home and be a wife. That's exactly how God wants it. Woman wants to do all things they're not made to do. I'm not with it. I'm just not.
Okay, guys. I agree completely with everything that he's saying.
Are you serious?
Because I come from a family where my mother takes complete care of my father, and I mean, everything, daddy goes out and work and mommy stays home and she cooks the dinner, and she's a mother and a wife, so I don't see anything wrong with it.
I'm more than a sex tool.
That's what I'm
Tashika isn't here.
I'm more than a homework.
Tashika isn't here to rub any man's feet.
Exactly.
No, baby. But
So isn't taking care of your husband a part of your... Isn't taking care of your husband a part of your job as a wife?
Jessica, why do I get the idea that you're one of those romantic period thinking woman? I don't get
Well,
it.
maybe I am, you know, that's how my parents raised me, so maybe I am. Who knows? But I just think that a woman is supposed to be a wife and a mother, nothing else.
Well, that's the reason why we have a diversified panel right here, because each woman has a different opinion. And baby, I'm of the opinion that 21st century thinking women should never be rubbing any man's feet and acting like they're just a sex toy. Like, come on.
So the big question is, what is the rightful place of a woman in society?
So that's the question for today. What is our rightful place as women
In society.
in society? You can comment below. Let us know if you agree or
We
disagree.
want to hear your views. We want to hear your
We
views.
want to hear your views on what this guy is saying about feminism. So back in the day, there was a romantic author named Mary Wollstonecraft.
Yeah.
And her book was The Vindication of the Rights of Women. What are your views on that book? I mean, we all read it and we all spoke about it earlier, but I want to know what your views are on that book.
You know what? Everything that this young man said in his video shows us just how much the periods tend to overlap, no matter how we are away from a certain era, if you look at it, right? Because we're in the 21st century, we're still thinking, but the romantic ideologies have no place in today's society. But there are still women who think very much romantic, and if I might take a tour, and even though that has nothing to do with what we're talking about now, the eras tend to overlap, and the place of a woman was literally nowhere back then. Women had no rights.
Well, I don't think that a woman should have rights, but I think that we still have a role, and I think that God created us for a purpose. And I think that we should take care of our husbands, we should be a wife, we should be a good mother. I'm not saying that we don't have a role in society and that we don't serve a purpose, yes. But, I mean, the men are there, they're the head of the household. Agreeing with what this guy said, we might not be sex toys as he said, but we still serve a purpose, as a wife and a mother.
But then Jessica, I'm not saying that women don't have a role in the home, but I'm going back to the romantic period and everything that this woman was fighting for to say that women had no rights.
And that's why I really like the
They
book.
had no
because what
place.
she really they wanted was proper education.
Yes.
For
Can you believe
women.
that, Jessica? Women had no
And
proper
I remember when she
education.
was saying that men treated women as flowers because they were only something beautiful to look at.
Based
and
on
look
her
at.
social ideas.
Right.
Men,
What she spoke about in her book. In her time, women were too, they viewed that women were too emotional to be as educated as men. So,
I mean, women were created as emotional beings. I think always were more emotional than a man in any given situation. I mean, even in breakups or any other situation, sometimes we take it harder, even though the man may feel it. We're more emotional beings. That's what I think.
but then, Jessica, should we use a woman's emotional state or the fact that a woman tends to be more emotional than a man to say that
incapable.
we
No,
are
I'm not
incapable?
saying
Rational
that
thinking. We're
I'm
not
not
in
saying-
favor of rational thinking or abstract thinking.
No, I'm not saying
And
that
was
we
the
are,
point.
but I'm just saying that we are emotional beings. So some of what they say is true, but not everything.
But yes, some of what they say is true. There was facts to what they were saying, but it was just not, I would say, was not verbatim properly or even stated in the proper context. Because not because they refer to us as flowers because we are so beautiful, that doesn't mean we're fragile.
Right.
That doesn't mean we can't
Right.
think for ourselves. So
Right.
believe it or not, these are the issues that Mary
Wollstonecraft.
Wollstonecraft touched on.
Yes,
Because women had absolutely no rights back then.
Yes, and not because they were more emotional, means that they were less rational. Because that was a symptom. Being emotional was a symptom of them not being educated in the first place.
And come on, ladies. I'm a 21st century thinking woman, and I would definitely never use marriage as a tool to survive. And this was what was brought out in her book. Marriage was considered a tool for a woman to survive because she had to have the skills of painting, drawing, and sewing. Nothing more.
I think it all has to do with independence too. Coming with the century, we're all independent women. And we have the view that we don't need a man to survive. So there's no way I need a man in order to go to my job, get my stuff together, and go ahead about my life. So I think it all has to do with the independent thinking. I think because of the way they were grown and the culture that they were in, the society had a lot to do with the way they behaved.
Yes.
So I mean, their society that they were in is completely different from today. Though we have
So
aspects
true.
of that society
So
today.
true.
I mean, we have a lot of independent. I mean, even the songs that are out today speak about independent women, and men seem to praise independent women these days, as opposed to back in those days where they
And
didn't praise
what Mary
independent
is
women.
also saying is that we as women, we need to stop giving into love and sentimental love and all these things. We need to
Yes.
combat the way society sees us as
Then-
emotional and fragile. We need to combat all of that and stop giving into these ways.
Then my friends, can you imagine how alienated or how she was thought of as a woman in that period because she brought up
She was
issues
completely different.
that were completely like,
different
where are
from
you
her
from? Maybe it was a situation where she time traveled and was in the romantic period.
Where are you
because-
from, right?
Yeah.
She was like almost an outcast in that time because women weren't as brave as she was.
And it was like
She was a very brave woman.
nothing happening at that time. So we can definitely see how, as I said before, how eras sometimes tend to cross over and how we can always learn as women from the past to move on as stronger women in the future, because it's a woman like Mary who brought these issues to light,
Yes.
You understand? About
And
how
let's not forget she got opposition from men because they had the Vindication of the Rights of Men.
Yes.
And I mean, of course she got opposition because men did not agree. So we can have comparisons and similarities of the period. So I think, it's a good book to look at. So, I mean, even in the romantic period, Mary Wollstonecraft, she mentioned the rights that women did not have. They couldn't vote, they couldn't get divorced if they wanted.
They could not
to.
have a
They
job.
couldn't have a job. I mean,
A proper
They
job.
could-
Yes, because their job was
Was
to
to
be a
take
wife,
care of home.
and so they couldn't have a proper job and stuff like that.
So
Because they were not
so ladies, there was no job outside of taking off the man's shoes and cooking the man's meal.
Well, alright.
And
So,
sleeping with him,
let's
of
not
course.
forget that part. Right. So I was thinking, girls, that we could compare her to Viola Davis in today's modern society, though she's not advocating for women per se, but she's advocating for black people
For
and
black
black
women,
rights.
yes.
Right. And she's trying to make such a difference in the lives of black people, just like Mary Wollstonecraft was trying to do back then. So we could compare her to Viola Davis in today's modern society, where she's fighting for certain rights of persons. And you have so many other people who fight for the rights of women, whether it is their race or whether it is their gender. People always fight for these rights, you know, because women seem to be targeted even in today's society where we see so much violence against women. You know, women seem to be targeted in today's society, and violence against women is a big thing, especially recently in the 21st
all of the
century.
killings. We can even bring it back to our local scene here in Jamaica. So many murders, crimes of passion, and all of these things taking
And
place.
you know, it's funny because a lot of the times men kill these women because they're not doing their job as a woman. They're
The
not
job that
being
they
a wife.
think that they should be doing.
Yes.
Because my viewers, you have to remember that women lived their lives in the complete control of a man. The man controlled everything. They had no say.
Well, you
They
know-
didn't have no talk.
Well, you know, I'm very encouraged by Miss Wollstonecraft.
Yes.
Because she was a governess. She took care of children. She worked with the ladies in waiting. Even though she was living in such a time, she tried to stand out from the other women, and she tried to make a mark for herself.
Right, girls, I think this was a wonderful chat, and I think that we should have this chat again sometime, even if it's on a
We
different
should.
topic,
I
a
think
different book. We should continue reading books and having these chats on these books.
This was a broad
Yeah,
topic.
right.
This was a broad topic that, as I said earlier, every young woman needs to know that they have a place outside.
And they have a right.
Have a right outside of shadowing men.
agree.
Because despite the fact that all of us have different views, you believe that your place is in the home. I believe that I'm a 21st century woman. My life
I
does
think
not
that
evolve
our
around that.
place is in the home, but I think we should take care of our home.
And Victoria thinks differently, right?
I don't believe that. Because
Right.
You see what Miss Wollstonecraft did when her sister had a problem with her husband. She encouraged her sister to leave her husband, even though she was shunned by the people in that society.
Yes, because remember again, divorce was not allowed.
Yes, but
So it was an
always
exciting program.
Yes,
We
see
are.
you again
Yes.
soon, viewers. And I mean, women, let's just remember that we're empowered for a reason and we serve a purpose.
Yes, we
no
do.
matter what
We're
anybody
more than a
else
pretty
tells you.
face.
Yes, we're more than a pretty
And
face,
we
and
are
we're
more
not
than
as
flowers.
we're not as fragile as people seem to think.
Yes. But it was an exciting program. We hope to see as much comments as possible to see what you think about the video that we presented at the beginning of the program. And we want to hear your views. What do you think? What are your struggles as a woman? Do you struggle with identity crisis as it relates to, do you think that you have no place in society? So we hope to address all of these issues and we crave your feedback. So it was an exciting program with my co-host.
Yes. Alright, and join us back here on Modern Woman again soon.
We'll see you.
bye.
Dance me, dance me, dance me. Come and have a little dance me.